and welcome back to Bachelor Buzz, the best place to come for updates on your favorite reality shows and the latest in news. We're your hosts, Araina.
And Julia. And today we're very excited to bring another type of reality show to your attention. Today we're going to First Sight, not US, Australia. Okay. This is one of my favorite reality shows. So I'm going to be kind of giving everybody an overview on what it's like and just kind of talking about why I like it so much compared to like the American version. And also, what I think maybe could benefit other shows that we love, like The Bachelor. So I'm telling you guys kind of an overview of it, but dear Araina, has actually watched a couple episodes of the most recent season 11.
Yes.
And if you are interested in watching it, we will take note of how to find it online and where you can watch it. It is not really like the current season, I don't think is on Lifetime, but you can watch past seasons on Lifetime of Married at First Sight Australia. They did show in the US during COVID. That's where, because they weren't showing like the modern, the recent US because they had to halt production. So they showed Australian version. So you can listen to it or watch it on Lifetime, maybe some like past seasons. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm so excited, Araina, that you watched it. What did you think of it? Did you like it
Yeah, I
so
did. I'm
far?
glad you turned me on to it because I remember when you first brought it up, I was like, oh, I've never heard of the Married at First Sight Australia because I'd seen the
Australia.
US version.
Yeah,
And you're right, it is very different.
it's so different.
I think that overall, I just really love the variety of people on the show. I know that
Yeah,
maybe it doesn't have as many like people of color that you would see.
that's the thing. Hmm.
But the age is a thing. There's different
Yes.
ages, there's different body types. There
Yes,
are some people of
exactly.
color. Yeah, so it's different in that way, which is good to see. And I also just feel like, it's a very different type of reality dating love show than like a Bachelor
Yeah,
because these are people that are like, they're getting married at first sight and they're actually
I
working through these
know.
relationships on
Yeah,
the show. It's not like The Bachelor where they work through it after the show's
exactly.
over. So,
And you may be thinking, well, that's the same as the US version, because in the US version, they do get married at first sight. There are three
yeah.
psychologists who are the experts, and they do support them throughout the process. But this franchise in Australia, UK, New Zealand is very different. And I will now tell you why. So, first off, experts. The first one is John Aiken, and this is in no particular order. John Aiken is a relationship expert from Australia. He's a therapist. We have Mel Schilling. She's a dating and relationship therapist. And Alessandra Rampolla. She's a clinical sexologist from Spain. And all three of these experts come together to choose the couples initially, and then they provide varying levels of support throughout the experiment. And what's cool about Married at First Sight Australia is that these couples do not just get married, they also go through a lot of psychological support. And it's just so much more than what you get in the US. So basically, they're matched by the experts. They get married just like in the US. The first episodes are all see which couples are matched, their wedding, their first impression, their vows. Some of them hit it off right away. Some of them are like, whoa, I didn't ask for this person. I didn't
Mhm.
expect this kind of person. And those ones are always tricky because, on one hand, you want to get what you're asking for if you're going on a show where you're married at
Mhm.
first sight. But on the other hand, the relationship experts that I just mentioned will usually have some sort of justification. Like, well, okay, you're really introverted. So we brought someone who will like bring you out of your introversion. They're an extrovert. Or like, oh, you said that you wanted someone with strong family values. This person has that. And it's just interesting, like how they match them. And at first, it may not look like a good match, but as the season progresses, there's a lot of opportunities for them to grow together and find that love that they were searching for. Another thing that's different about Married at First Sight Australia is that a lot of couples actually do, or a lot of, contestants, I guess, they do have kids. There are some people that have like 5 kids at home.
Wow.
And yeah, and that really wasn't demonstrated a lot in this season. I think there was
Mhm.
only, I mean, okay, we already mentioned, but there is a much more diverse age group. I
Mhm.
mean, we have people who are, just like a young, but we also have people in their like 50s and 60s who are
Right.
looking for love. And
Mhm.
those people, of course, have children. Well, not of
Mhm.
course, but like oftentimes have children.
Mhm.
They're at the wedding, the children help them like process everything. But some of the younger ones also do have children. So it's really interesting to see that first conversation after the wedding where it's like, oh, by the way, I have 2 boys. So that's always just something that's a little different, I think, from The Bachelor. I mean, people may have children on The Bachelor, but
Mhm.
it's not so much like we're married now and you
Yeah.
must choose these kids along with me. Where in The
Mhm.
Bachelor, that's part of their decision making. Can I be a dad or can I be a mother to this child?
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why this show is so like intense
Mhm.
beyond their marriage. So after they get married, they go straight to their honeymoon, and it is different places. It could be like the Philippines or just in Australia, but it's usually this beautiful resort. It's just the couple. There's no like intermingling of couples at that point, unlike in Love is Blind. And then that after like a week or I don't know, I'm not really great on the timeline, but like after a few days at the honeymoon,
Yeah.
they go to their first dinner party, and the
Uh-huh.
dinner party, and this, everyone who's listening who's not familiar, this is the sequence of events. It's like a week of just them. You get 1 or 2 episodes of content, then
Mhm.
you get a dinner party episode, and then you get a commitment or like a counseling session
Uh-huh.
episode.
Mhm.
So that's how this show is structured. So it's always like, let's do a week of trial and tribulations, then dinner party, then the commitment ceremony. So here we have the dinner party, and that's where all the couples come together without the experts, but the
Mhm.
experts are sitting there watching them.
And
It's hilarious.
listening.
They're like listening, they're watching everything in real time.
Love it.
And it's always the same place. There's always the same waiter that comes out and says, dinner is served, and they all have to go. And it's just really interesting to see like how they interact with each other. They start to learn each other's relationship, each other out on stuff. They may have wandering eyes towards other grooms or brides,
Mm.
which is another thing that happens a lot on this
Oh
show.
my
It
goodness.
they have a lot of, or the drama. I also have acquired a very thick Australian accent from this show. I am obsessed with Australian accents now, and I do it to the point where I'm sometimes nervous that my baby might say things in an Australian accent. Anyways, so yeah, that's like the fun of it. I really love just watching the drama. These people are all going through the same thing, and
Mhm.
they all wish the best for each other. They all want to see all of them make, or the final commitment ceremony where they decide to stay together. But yeah, it's just like really cool how they interact and just call each other out and catch up at the dinner party. But then the next day is the commitment ceremony. Um, this is where it's like a couch and the 3 experts. And then all the couples are to the side. And each couple pair goes up, talks to the expert. They talk about how their week went, what's going right, what's going wrong. And the experts call them out on their bullshit. And they are just so good. Like, I mean, so many people, like, yes, it's reality TV. So sometimes what they say has a certain bias or
Yeah.
like, they want to follow the storyline in their own
Mhm.
way. But
Mhm.
I think that what they say is pretty legit. Like, they're all such well-spoken people. They're so
Mhm.
smart. They're so, clear with their communication. And I really appreciate that. And there have been moments where my husband and I are watching, we're like, hey, you do that. This is what we should do to fix that. We're going to do that now. Like they literally have helped us
Helping
examine
relationship.
our relationship. Yeah. And I think that's just so cool. So, again, why I love the show. And furthermore, what other things they do, which I think are really cool, that I hope that Bachelor Nation would think about doing.
Mhm.
They have intimacy and relationship challenges
Oh,
pretty much every week. Yeah. So
that's
every
good.
week they have like one or two like challenges that they're given. So they're at, oh, and they move in together. I didn't say that. After the honeymoon, they move into an apartment in the same building. All of them are in apartments, brand new, beautiful apartments, all in the same building. So it gives the opportunity for those wandering eye people to like connect here and there. Drama.
Oh
But
my goodness.
yeah, I know. It definitely like it sucks, but it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there have been episodes or like seasons where two couples will break up and then they'll come to get, one groom and one bride from the two couples will come and be like, can we continue the experiment together?
Oh, I love that. I mean, not
I
for the
know.
situation for the people in it, but like, oh my
Right.
gosh.
But like if that's what, like sometimes you just have to follow your heart.
Mhm.
And that has happened quite a few times. Sometimes it crashes and burns, but
Mm.
sometimes they make it to the final ceremony.
Oh.
And it's just interesting to watch. I mean, obviously it sucks because like one season, Jess, what is her name? I'll think of it. One season she like ended up with the guy, but like she did so by saying yes at the ceremonies, continuing to say yes, 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 even though she didn't really want to be with the guy. She just wanted to stay in the experiment to get to know the other guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, I kind of skipped over that. So, at the commitment ceremony where they talk to the experts,
Mhm.
they have to decide after they talk through everything, they write on a card, stay or leave.
Mm.
And they have to decide whether or not they're going to stay in the experiment or if they leave it.
Mhm.
And if both of them say stay, obviously they stay. But
Mhm.
if one person says stay and one says leave, they stay also. They have to do one more week. But if both of them say leave, then they both can leave. Now, they actually can leave at any time. So it's a little bit like, I mean, they're not
Yeah.
going to force people to be in bad relationships, but for the ones that do persist, like I mentioned with Jessica Powers, that's who it is.
Mhm.
When she did hers, like the guy kept staying, thinking, okay, she wants to work on things, but really she just wanted to get to know Dan.
Mm.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but she's like very famous influencer now. She's been on a
Okay.
bunch of other reality TV shows in Australia. She's
Okay.
doing fine. I don't know what he's up to. He was
Oh.
like a country
Oh.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
An
a weird
outback?
match though.
No.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was like country, like chilling at his country house, and she was
Mhm.
like, I'm an influencer. Like, it
In the
just didn't
city.
match.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they were thinking, oh, she'll bring him out of his
Wow.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing.
Okay, so back to the challenges. Some of these challenges include an honesty box where they have to answer questions honestly. They have a challenge, Arena, where they have all the pictures of the other brides or the other grooms, and
Oh.
you have to rank them in
Oh,
order of physical
no.
attractiveness, including
No.
your person.
No. I mean,
Yes,
good for TV, but no.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm
But
so
like
excited to see this.
I know, I
I haven't
know.
got far enough,
It's the
guys.
drama. It's so good. But like
Oh my
it's this
gosh.
weird push-pull of like, do I
Yeah.
put my person automatically number one or
Are
do
you
I not?
honest?
I know. So that obviously creates drama. There's been
Yeah.
so many couples that have just like combusted at that point. But like if you can't make it through that, and
Oh.
like honestly, like I mean it kind of tests your physical attraction, it tests your connection. The best couples are the ones who are like, I put you number one because I think you're fine as hell and I'm so happy and you're so
Aw,
great
that's
and awesome and I'm
nice.
obsessed with you. Those are the ones that
Those are
are
nice.
successful mostly at the end.
Mhm.
And then another one is intimacy week where they are actually given a box of sex toys and
Oh,
sex
oh my.
questions. They have to answer. I know it gets hot that week. They have to do things like a 3-minute stare into each other's eyes, 3-minute hug, like things like that. But like again, me and my husband are like, all right, pause. Stare at me for 3 minutes. And it's kind of fun. It's like cool to like go do the same things.
Mhm.
I literally will pause it and be like, Brian, did you hear? Like, what was the question that they asked in the honesty box? and we'll talk about it. Where do you see this relationship going? Where's it
Stop.
going?
Stop.
That's more Australian. Anyways, guys, there's more. There's
There's
writing letters to each other. There's
no.
partner swaps. They swap partners for like a couple days, not
What?
in a sexual way, definitely not. Because
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
did, that would be a big
Mm.
deal. But they have
Different
to like
show.
live. It's kind of like the grass is greener on the other side. Not really. It's kind of
Yeah.
to help them understand like what they have and
Hmm.
to help them understand like maybe what's going wrong so
Yeah.
they can go back and fix it.
Yeah.
And then another one is writing a letter from one couple to another couple, like, hey, you guys are struggling with this, or like, I think you need this. Like,
Oh.
they really work together. It's very
Yeah.
like, it's like taking a village
Yeah.
for them to succeed. So, and then of course they also have an episode where they go home and they like have
Yeah.
to actually meet the family and I mean
Hmm.
they met the family and friends at the wedding
Yeah.
obviously. Although sometimes at the wedding like family and friends don't show up. Like it's sad, but like
Yeah.
you know, when families hear that you're marrying a person they've never met, sometimes they're like, well, I'm not going to that because it
Yeah.
sounds like not
Not gonna happen.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at that point for the hometown, if they're still together, then usually you meet the family and friends.
Hmm.
And then after that, then they have like a final date and then some time away from each other.
Hmm.
And then after that is the final ceremony where it's almost like another little wedding
Hmm.
because then they meet each other at some random spot with flowers. It's like a little wedding setup that
Hmm.
they come with their final vows. And that's where they decide whether or not they're going to stay together or if they're, or really, it's not if they're going to stay together, but like if I want to be with you, if I say yes, great. If not, no. And that's it. You know, there's no like stay thing, stay, leave. But yeah, and then after that, I remember the first season of watching it, me and my husband were watching every day. I mean, it's like 5 episodes a week, guys. It's like every day. It's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's just a lot of content. So if you have a
Yeah.
lot of time to kill, I recommend the show. If you don't have that much free time to watch The Bachelor, firstly, and then this, I would wait until you have like a good binge day
Some long
for watching
trips,
this.
flights.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
like 33 episodes a season.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and they're all an hour long.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky. I had maternity leave. I banged out like 3 of these. And then COVID, you know, it was great. Anyways, so then after, yeah, they have a reunion. So there's just so many episodes for this show, but it's really great. Again, I think that there's so much that Bachelor Nation can take from it as far as like the relationship challenges. I
Yeah.
would love to see more of these things, like the intimacy week, the
Yes.
writing letters to each other,
Mhm.
even the honesty box. I think would be really awesome for them to incorporate in Bachelor franchise.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they already do the hometowns, but I mean, when they do it on Married at First Sight Australia, it's for like a couple days. It's like 2-3 days. They like
Not like 4
stay in their,
hours.
yeah, and they like see their apartments or their
Yeah.
houses. They meet
Mhm.
their dogs. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes they'll go to the house and be like, wow, like you live like a frat boy. That's like,
Ugh.
I was thinking you were this like posh guy. And then now I'm like totally turned off. And it's like they really dig deep until like, what is this person's true life and personality? Can you be with them forever? You know? And you just learn a lot about relationships through it. So again, it's not like these are the most genuine people. A lot of these people do want to be influencers. They look hot. They've had a lot of plastic surgery, let me tell you, to the point where you're just kind of like, wow, like they
Distracted.
all look the same. It's a little distracting, yeah. But they're all looking hot. There is a lot more diversity with age, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Not as much for race or body size, but I mean, Australia in general is not super diverse. So
Yeah, I mean, they
they
have
have more
different
like
people.
Asian
Yeah.
diversity and like indigenous, but
Yeah, they have indigenous and they have other
yeah.
people, but yeah. But I like to see not that it has to be that way, but it's nice to see like mixed couples too.
Yeah.
I like
Mhm.
monoracial couples too, of course. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't really see mixed couples a lot in the US version. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I've watched
Yeah.
a few seasons and I don't really see it that much.
Hmm.
So it's kind
Of
of
Married
nice.
at First Sight.
Yeah, Married at First
Yeah.
Sight.
I mean, I watched the first like 3 seasons of that. It was
Hmm.
such a dumpster fire. I couldn't. And
It's hard to
I
watch.
saw I was Married at First Sight Australia and I was like, I mean, it's COVID. I have all this time. So I
Yeah,
was like, I'll watch it. And wow, my life was changed. I just
it
loved
is
it.
different. It
It's
is,
so
and there's
it's
more
so
people.
thoughtful,
Yeah.
and the Married at First Sight America, it's just
Mhm.
like you're married, good luck, call us if you need us. And they just have no support. And the support they do get is the experts basically telling them, but you're such a great match. We matched you for a reason. No, they're not a great match. This is terrible. So yeah, I gave up on that a long time ago, but I love the Australian version because at least they try. I mean, like
Mhm.
they're made it actually, I will say this, there's a very low success rate in
Okay. I
Australian
was
Married
gonna
at First
ask.
Sight.
Yeah.
But I would argue that the chance of success is much higher with these
Okay.
couples because they do try. There's so
Mhm.
many couples that really put their all in, and at the end maybe they're just not a match, but like you can see that they're working on themselves and
Mhm.
that there's a lot of hard questions they have to answer. So for that, I do love that. I do love that about it. So
Nice.
yeah. I hope that
Yay.
gives you a good rundown about what Married at First Sight Australia is. And again, it's not the easiest to watch in the US, but we will help you out. DM us if you need help, and we will put it on our Patreon. But I did want to chat a little bit about the most recent season, Araina. You did start watching a little
Season
bit.
11.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, is there anything that you thought was especially interesting about it or that you liked about it?
Well, speaking of the different ages, I think one of the first contestants we meet in the first
Mm-hmm.
episode, I can't remember his name, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. He's an
Mm-hmm.
older gentleman. I love that he like showed up and was very much like, I'm here to find love. And,
Yeah.
a lot of people tell me that I look good for my age in 60s, but then, and I take it as a compliment, but then I'm like, well, what do you think someone in their 60s should look like? And I really like that he said that because I always
Yeah.
think
I
that
know. I know who
too
you're talking about.
when people say things like even when you're younger in your 30s, it's like, oh, she looks good for her 30s. It's like, well, what should I look like?
I
Not me, but
know.
like,
What
you
is
know what
that
I'm
supposed
saying?
I think
Like,
that
what does
was
that mean?
Richard.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
his name. So I really liked that. Some people that really stood out to me so far,
Hmm.
um, Collins
Yeah.
and his wife. I don't remember her name.
Natalie.
Natalie. Um, Interesting. Because I don't want to give anything away, guys. You need to watch this,
Yeah.
but
They're just
immediately
interesting.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
They've already stood out to me, and I've literally only watched like the
Yeah.
first episode and the sixth episode with the dinner party, the first dinner party.
Upon
So that's
my
interesting.
direction, I was like,
Yes,
skip the
thank
next
you.
episodes.
I
Just
know,
go
because
to
I was like,
6.
which one should I watch
Yeah.
to catch up before
I
we do
mean,
this?
if you guys really want to watch it, watch all of them. But
Yes.
like the most important episodes, I think, are probably like the first few, and then the dinner party and commitment ceremonies, because they always like kind of catch you up on what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that was the nice
But
thing
yeah,
too. Before the
Collins.
dinner party,
Hmm.
like they catch you up on what's going on with the relationships and
Yeah,
from their honeymoons, and that was really helpful. So I really
it's
liked
very
that.
well produced.
It
Yeah,
is,
and their
and
budget is so high
it
compared
seems
to the
way
USA.
better than the
Hmm.
US version,
Yeah,
like
like
their
they pay
budget.
for all the weddings, all the ceremonies. Now, the cast will say, like, we don't get paid that much, which sucks. It does suck. I mean, they're
All
putting
reality
their,
TV.
yeah, I mean, but I think the expectation is that you're gonna like kind of become an influencer after
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
hold your
So
horses.
at least they get
Yeah.
paid. They do get
They
paid like
get paid
something?
enough for their rent of their house, but like the
Okay.
where they live in
Hmm.
the show is paid for.
Oh, that's
But
nice.
like to keep up their own rent at their house, I
Yeah.
think they give like $1,500 a month or
Yeah,
something.
depends where you live, I guess. Mm.
It depends. I don't know what Australian currency and like
Yeah, I know.
I think that's what it is, but again, like the show pays for a lot.
That's good.
I will also say that this season did have one LGBTQIA couple. It was a gay
Oh.
couple, Michael and Steven.
Oh, I didn't.
So
Oh,
there
because
is
okay, Michael
there's more
wasn't in the
diversity.
one I
Yeah, so
saw.
Michael,
He
yeah,
comes back though.
Michael actually his groom,
Uh-huh.
little spoilers, like episode 2
It's
spoiler.
okay.
His groom dropped out. He was like, it's not for me. I can't do it. Oh yeah, actually the very first episode is a bachelor and bachelorette party. The Bucks. That's what it is.
That's
Bucks,
right.
Bucks
Yeah.
and hens.
And
Okay.
I think Tori and Jack was the other couple so far, and that's just because I think of where I am in the series that there was some issue with Jack and the
They
ex.
are like a
Yeah.
very controversial couple.
Okay.
And I think that what you are feeling is very normal, and you'll probably feel that for the whole
Throughout the
season.
whole thing.
Um, and it's just really interesting to see where their relationship goes. But yeah, that was another thing I wanted to mention, that like they do have a Bucks night and a hens night, which
Mhm.
is their slang in Australia for like the bachelor and bachelorette party. So all the grooms meet and all the brides meet the night before all the weddings occur. So again, it's like a very like we're all in
Cool.
this together thing.
Yeah.
So it's just really fun to watch their friendships grow. Like it's just a great show. I just love it. And then yeah, again, it's just like a little bit more diverse as far as like having some homosexual relationships. The Married at First Sight UK just had a season that had a trans
Oh,
person on
cool.
there, a male
That's
to
wonderful.
female trans person, and their story was beautiful to watch. Um,
Why
and
can't the
yeah,
US do this?
I
Well, we know
know.
why.
It's
The
really,
US is.
yeah. I mean, we have like other segments where we talk more in depth about this. So keep an eye out
Mhm.
for more episodes to drop.
Mhm.
But yeah, it really is great to see that other countries are doing this, even if our own country is not, you
Not
know.
doing it.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's reflective of the reality of the people who are in
Yes.
relationships in this year, in this
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
it's great to see that they have that diversity over there in Australia and the UK.
Yeah. Well, so like, is there anything else that we want to add at the end of this before we wrap up? That because this
No.
has made me, even before this though, guys, ever since we started this podcast and Julie and I have really been talking, she has mentioned the show. So I've been like, I have to watch this show. And
Yeah.
sure enough, as soon as I literally started the first episode, I hadn't even gotten through the whole episode, guys. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this
Yes.
by far is already
Yeah.
better than the US version. And I'm
Right.
like,
And I feel like when I tell people,
do
oh, do
more.
you watch Married at First Sight? They're like, ugh. I'm like, wait, Australia,
And they're
like,
like, huh?
hold on. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
So it's just such a great show that
Mhm.
is thankfully accessible to the US
Yeah.
viewers. Although again, it is hard to find. I will
Mhm.
not lie to you. I watched it on my computer. If that gives you some insight into how hard it is to find, I do stream it to my TV. I've figured that out. So that's kind of, or I cast it,
Yeah.
So it's not that hard once you figure it out. It's worth it. That's what it is. So yeah,
Well,
I hope you guys like this.
mhm.
Any other questions or comments, Arena?
No, but you know that offline, I will be following up with you once I get through more of these episodes. I'll probably be
Yay.
like, oh my gosh, or blah, blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And I
it'll
mean,
be fun.
honestly, like if you guys are interested, let us know and we can definitely keep an eye out for the next season and
Yeah.
maybe do some recaps for you guys, especially those who are interested in the show but maybe aren't able to find it online. But again, talk to us, we'll find it
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. We will, guys. Thank you.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed and we'll see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.